Albert Einstein was born on March 14, 1879. His mother, Pauline Einstein, gave birth to him in Ulm in the Kingdom of Württemberg. Like Einstein himself, his father, Hermann Einstein, was a very smart man. He was a salesman and an engineer, and in 1880, when Albert was 1, the family moved to Munich to start a company with his brother that manufactured electrical equipment based on direct current. In 1894, Hermann's company failed, so the family moved to Italy to find more work. They first moved to Milan, then a few months later to Pavia. When the family moved to Pavia, Albert went to Munich to study at the Luitpold Gymnasium. In December of 1894, Albert traveled back to Italy to visit his parents. During this time, he wrote an essay titled "On the Investigation of the State of the Ether in the Magnetic Field." After graduating, Albert spent almost 2 years looking for a teaching post. An old friend got him a job in Bern at the Federal Office for Intellectual Property. In 1901, Albert got one of his papers, The Capillary Forces of Straw, published in the prestigious physics journal Annalen der Physik. He was then awarded a Ph.D. by the University of Zurich. That same year, Albert published 4 huge papers on the photoelectric effect, special relativity, Brownian motion, and the equivalence of matter and energy. These papers got him recognized in the academic world. 7 years later, in 1908, he was recognized as a leading scientist and began giving lectures at the University of Bern. But soon enough, he decided to quit the patent office and lecturing to become a physics docent at the University of Zurich. By 1911, he was a full professor at the Karl Ferdinand University in Prague. Then, from 1914 to 1932, he was director of the Kaiser Wilhelm Institute for Physics and professor at the Humboldt University in Berlin. And in 1916, he was appointed president of the German Physical Society. In 1911, Einstein made a discovery that would change his life forever. He calculated that light from another star would be bent by the sun's gravity. This prediction was later confirmed by observations made by a British expedition during the solar eclipse in 1919. Einstein was then on the front page of the most popular British newspaper, The Times. The title read, "Revolution in Science, New Theory of the Universe, Newtonian Ideas Overthrown." 2 years later, in 1921, Einstein was awarded the Nobel Prize in Physics. He also won the Copley Medal from the Royal Society in 1925. During 1921 and 1922, Einstein traveled a lot. He went to New York for the first time, then London that same year. The next year, he went to Asia, Singapore, Palestine, and Japan. Einstein immigrated to the United States because of the Nazis' rise of power in Germany. In 1933, the Nazi book burnings occurred, where some of Einstein's work was burned. He later found out that his name was on the list of assassination targets, with a $5,000 bounty on his head. He was also under a list in a German magazine phrasing, "not yet hanged." In 1939, Einstein and a companion of his wrote a letter to warn President Roosevelt of the possibility that Adolf Hitler was building an atomic bomb. Roosevelt received the letter and the U.S. entered the race to develop the bomb. This was called the Manhattan Project. Einstein became an official U.S. citizen in 1940. Then he joined the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, otherwise known as the NAACP. In 1955, Einstein died at the age of 76 from internal bleeding. Einstein was definitely a hero because he was a member of the NAACP, he was part of the Manhattan Project, and he made multiple breakthrough discoveries in science.